With Miracle in ruins, the guilty remnant claiming success, and Kevin seemingly reunited with his entire family, many have been begging for a new third season of HBO's The Leftovers. But with low ratings, HBO didn't necessarily need to pick up this show for another season. I've never really been clear about why they pick up some shows and don't others, since their revenue is not driven by ads, it's driven by subscriptions overall, it's not show specific. Ultimately though, they did decide to give Leftovers one more season. The bigger news being that it will definitely be the last. Season 3 will be the end of The Leftovers. Now, I've heard from some fans that are disappointed that this will be it, that there won't be anything beyond Season 3, while other fans are actually disappointed that there will be a Season 3, and that they felt that Season 2 was the perfect ending for the show. In a recent interview with Slash Film, Damon Lindelof commented on the news following the pickup. Lindelof said, "We should also announce this is going to be the last season." HBO was like, "Let's keep it open, we don't have to do that." Lindelof said, "I think it's important that we do." So is that the right call? At the end of Season 2, Kevin is seemingly in a good place. Lori and Tommy have come back into his life, Nora has returned to him, and everything is coming together. Everything's coming up Milhouse. Kevin's story is seemingly done. His Season 1 arc led him to a new place where he could potentially find happiness. Season 2 saw him dealing with the repercussions of either his mental illness or his prophetic visions, depending on your interpretation. Having kicked Patty to the curb, his story may very well be done. As much as I want to see him approach Mary or his father about what is going on in the hotel, I don't need that to complete his story. There are plenty of unanswered questions in this show, but no more than you would expect from what has become the most ambiguous TV program of all time. Twin Peaks, you may have set the bar for weird, but Leftovers just took it and went over the moon. Do you have a hotel where you get to pick if you want to be an international assassin or a cop or a frat boy priest thing that was never really explained fully? 'Cause Leftovers did. So if our central character's story is done, what does that leave us to do in Season 3? I've heard that from a number of people on Twitter or on YouTube comments, but it ultimately doesn't pay enough attention to what has been the cornerstone of this show, which is the amazing supporting cast. Meg and Tommy, for example, have a great, if very weird relationship. I want to see what the two of them together could do. It could be destructive, it could be amazing. Lori versus the GR is also a great storyline that has a lot of potential for what she could do as she tries to go to war with this crazy nationwide cult. And the big character that I want to see, even though you could arguably not call it a character, is Australia. Why Australia, you might ask? Well, here's the thing. Go back through Season 1, Season 2. There's a ton of references, very small references to Australia. Something that they were clearly laying the ground for something big. Season 1 had the National Geographic. In Season 2, we had Kevin Sr. going to Australia after that's what The Voice is. His Patty told him to do. We have a letter being sent from Tower Man to Australia. We had David Burton, this guy that kept getting hinted at throughout this episode, who potentially is an immortal living in Perth. I don't know why Australia is so important, but I think it could be potentially the setting for Season 3. We went from Mapleton to Texas. Why not go from Texas all the way to Australia? I would love to see a Season 3 that's just set entirely in Perth. Just uproot the entire Garvey family to Perth, Australia. I don't know what's going to happen, but I want to see it. So there's a lot of good potential for Season 3. But why stop there? Why not leave open the potential for a Season 4, Season 5? Well, ultimately, it's because The Leftovers just needs to be what The Leftovers is. And that is a painful, often ambiguous examination of the human psyche and the human condition. The creators have always been clear with us that they are not going to answer the question of where the departed went. But that question is what underlies the entire series. We can be distracted by that plenty when you have a great drama around it. But the characters can only go so far. You can only do that for so long before the mystical elements behind the show need to be addressed. You get caught in a place like Lost where the rules and the science of this universe become more important than the characters. And that's what happens when you go into your 5th season, 6th season. The Leftovers capping themselves at Season 3 is ultimately the right place to end, because you'll never have to deal with that. Season 3 will bring a lot of the storylines that we've had to a close. It'll let everyone cap their arc. And more importantly, it will let the writers tell exactly the story they want to tell. Knowing that this is the end, not having to worry about there might be a season 4, lets them know that they can tell the stories that they want to tell without worrying about the fact that they would have to hold something back for fear of having nothing for next season. They can get everything they want out in the next 10 episodes and be done with it. That's what the writers are going to need if they're ever going to top what is arguably one of the best seasons of a television drama ever. So what do you guys think? Do you think season 2 should have been the end of it? Do you think season 4 should have been left on the table as an option? What do you think season 3 is gonna look like? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. You can either put them there or tweet them at me at @ZachWilson. That's Zach with a CH spelled properly. If you want to see more of my thoughts on The Leftovers, you can join me for an episode-by-episode breakdown on the after show at AfterBuzz TV. Just click on the link that's around me right now. And until next time, guys, I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with me.